Hello, I'm Amanda Hawking, and I'm back with another writing video. It's taking me a lot longer to get back into this than I thought it would, but I've just been kind of busy. I've been working on stuff that I'm not ready to tell you about yet, even though you're going to be super excited. It's very exciting. I'm thinking in the next couple of weeks, but I'm always like, I've started like, I'm always at like guessing time, engaging time. I've been really trying to keep track of data, and I've got like a bullet journal, and I'm trying to do a better job of figuring out how long it takes me to do things, so that I can be more accurately gauge how long, it'll take me to get stuff released and all that. So I'm kind of trying to figure it out, but I'm also being kind of like vague about things because I'm not good at it yet, but I'm working on it. Anyway, I'm back now, and I've got like some writing advice. I've been thinking about stuff that I wanted to talk about and different things. I am thinking about changing the name of the video, so it's not writing on Wednesdays, but it doesn't actually really matter, so, because this was like for my own personal reasons where I want to just like make sure that I'm doing a weekly video. I guess I could do weekly writing advice. That would work, because then it could be any day that works best for me to get it out. This week I want to talk about setting a scene and trusting your audience. I think it's something that I've struggled with in the past, where I feel like I have an idea, I have a very clear vision in my head about how the scene looks, and I want to describe it so that the audience gets it like exactly the way I want it. But that can be clunky and overly precise. I noticed that with some of my older works, the thing that I would tend to do is be like really specific about where the characters are and where their limbs are and things like that, because it was important to me and how I viewed the scene and how everything was set up. But it ultimately isn't that important to the reader, actually, that I'm being so precise about where elbows and hands are and things like that. I mean, sometimes it's important to put things in and then like especially in a scene that has romantic tension, acknowledging the proximity and touching another character and where you touch them can all be very important. But generally, like if you're just having a scene of 4 or 5 characters talking about something, you don't have to constantly remind people where the characters are and tell you exactly when they breathe or step or lick their lips. And I think there was something that I don't know why, it was just because I was picturing it, and so every time I would picture a character doing something, I would tell you about it. But I think that it's important to also trust your audience, trust them to be able to fill in the gaps, to give them broad strokes of what things are. Because that's actually the really cool thing about writing in so many ways, is it's not just me. It's actually like, a book is a collaborative process between, a writer and the reader. And it really is, because you're filling it in with your own, and I've got ideas about how it looks, but you have your own, dream cast, and some people don't even see, characters that way. But it's one of those like interesting things that you can't control exactly what the reader's bringing to it, but you shouldn't try to force it, and especially I think sometimes trying to force it can make it really clunky and redundant and just slow pacing down when it's really not necessary. I think it's okay to step back and just give the readers just enough where they can kind of fill in the rest on their own, and then that makes it more special and intimate, I think. Another thing, I was talking with people the other week, and what I found really interesting was the way that not everyone really views reading a book like a movie, or really pictures faces and things like that. And I do find that interesting, because it is something that I do picture so vividly, and I think that it at times can detract from my writing ability, but because I'm like, it's so like, I want it to be so specific, and I need to like kind of let go and just, have more broad strokes than too many like specifics where the characters are standing all the time. But especially when, realizing that a lot of people don't view it so cinematically, literally, or they don't picture faces and things like that. And then it's realizing that I'm also spending a lot of time describing things that many readers are not picturing at all. And so I think that's something to keep in mind too, is that not every reader reads in the same way. Anyway, but obviously the thing is too, you need to write, what you want to write. Take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, because for every rule, there's someone who's broken it, and it's worked out really well. But it's just rough advice for things that will make it easier for you, but it's not like concrete, like, this is what you have to do. And I also think that some people, some books are like very, very, very detailed, and readers like that. And some books are very like minimal and detailed and very quick, and readers also like that. So there's readers for kind of everything in between, but just in general, for thinking about your own story, if you want to, clean it up and pick up the pace, if you feel like it's slow or it's lagging, that's something to look for. Is like how many times you're talking about, the characters running their hands through their hair, or licking their lips, or where they're looking, or where they're standing. And of course, some of this stuff is important and integral, but I know, like from my own experience and from some other books that I have read here and there, that it can be just kind of like a not necessary, and it can slow things down. And it is hard to kind of know which is which. But that's one of those things that is it's so tricky with like all of writing, because so much of it is objective, subjective. So much of it is subjective, not objective, and it can make it really difficult to know exactly, like, is this good? Is this helping? Is this hurting? But it's something that I think you figure out more as you go along and you try things, and also just in paying attention to what you read and what you like, and think about that too, like how you read books, like how specific are you about picturing things? How many liberties do you take with what the work says? I mean, there are some times where, you know, the book will describe a character a certain way, but for some reason I get in my head the character someone's totally different. You know, like they're describing someone who looks like Scully and I'm picturing Mulder, and I just can't, you know, get that out of my head, like that kind of thing. And you know, but that's it. That's what makes the story kind of, so each like, I wrote a book, but then for every person who reads it, that's like a different version of it. You know, it's still, it's the same, but it's different. There'll be slight tweaks to how things play out and how they feel things play out. And that's also why you get why some characters, you know, will be favorites by many people and hated by others. And of course, everyone's just their own person. That's part of it too. But yeah, I mean, while I haven't been recording videos, I have been taking like some notes, and I get ideas of things that I would like to talk about in future videos. So I kind of have more of a theme going for this season, I think. Like I said, I'm planning to get back into weekly recordings of videos of this and advice, and I might work on another series. But I do find it, like, I want to do 2 videos a week, but I find that that gets to be more difficult for me in trying to balance writing and the other stuff that I do. But it's something that I'm striving for, and I'll see if I can figure out. Like, I'm trying to balance my time better and use my time better, and I don't know how successful I will be. So I'm optimistic at this point, but we'll see. I have been busy on stuff that you guys are going to be so excited for. I know it, like, yeah. And I'm still working on the 7 Fallen Hearts. I'm going to explain more about the release dates with that and how it coincides with some other stuff, because that makes sense. And I think this is what people want. So I'm trying it. I'll discuss it more in another video, probably about 1 to 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. No, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks is probably more accurate. I think that's what I had written down. I'll have things ready, and then I can talk to you about it. It's all very exciting and good, and I've been working really hard, and I think the next couple of years, my projects that I have, you guys are going to be like, just, it's going to be good. I think so. I really do. I'm super excited about all of this, and it's been so much fun, and I have so much stuff that I want to talk about that it's just a little too soon to talk about, so that's all I will say. But yeah, I'll be back with more writing videos, writing advice, and I'm going to give you updates about what's going on with the books, and I will soon have news about all of that. Thank you again for tuning in. It's really, you know, I enjoy doing these things, and it's great to know that people, you know, are also enjoying these things, and so this is now, because I'm considering these kind of like the seasons how I'm doing it in my head, so this is like my 3rd season of doing this, and I've gotten to enjoy it so much, and get to find out, you know, more about you guys and what you all want to hear, and I like this. I think this is something that I'm enjoying doing, and I hope that you are also. If you do enjoy these, please make sure that you're hitting like and subscribe. I hate saying that, but it is helpful for things, so please, please do that. And until next time, stay safe, be kind, and happy reading.